Yeah, so
Can we start?
yeah, I think you should start.
Uh, so, shall we start with the co-founder of or the co-inventor of lithium-ion batteries?
Yeah. So
The
what was
news about
his name? Was something very unique, some John B. Good enough or something like that.
yeah, John B. Good enough. Yeah, he shared and he got his Nobel Prize in 2019 for his work on the lithium-ion battery.
But I
And
think, but he
yes,
discovered it. I mean, he invented or discovered. I don't know. I think he developed this technology in
yes,
1980s or something.
yes. It says
So
that
why
yes,
did it take so long for
the
him to get this Nobel Prize?
yeah. Sometimes it's a mystery. There means how do they evaluate the papers or which people should get? So I'm not sure,
And
and
luckily, he
I'm
was
not even
alive in
sure.
2019. Most people won't be alive at that age.
Yes,
He
yeah,
was already
because
100 years or
yes,
something.
he yes he died at 100. Means he was 100 in 2023. That means he would have been about 96 at that time. So
Yeah.
he's lucky because if Nobel prizes aren't awarded to dead people, if somebody dies, he doesn't uh, get an award posthumously. So he's fortunate to get it. He's actually fortunate to get the recognition that he rightly deserved.
Yeah.
And it says that the breakthrough happened more than 40 years ago. So it happened a long time ago. And sometimes the thing is that it requires, it takes time to get recognized. I would say that because even though people knew about his discovery 40 years ago, but many people did not, uh, probably did not know the gravity of his or the importance of his work. So maybe that's one reason. Because
Yes,
as it's been mentioned that
but since the
okay,
early
go on.
2000s only, I guess, since the start of consumer electronic devices, lithium-ion battery has
Yes,
become very important. So at least 20 years ago, it has started to become important.
yes, but since the 2000s, so Tesla started in 2003, and since then, so before that, electric cars were pretty much means yeah, there's a history that since the 1800s, electric cars were invented, but at least it became mainstream after a Tesla. So probably that last 10 years it became mainstream. And so that was the thing. And also the smartphones came in 2007, 2008. So after iPhone, it became more popular. So the previous decade really played a huge part in the popularization of the importance of lithium-ion batteries. So maybe by the end of the yes, so that's what by the end of that decade, people recognize how important his work was. I think so. That might be one reason.
Yeah.
And it also says that he is the oldest person ever to receive a Nobel Prize. So
I mean, he's
that's
oldest, but
uh,
he wouldn't have been oldest if he had if he had passed away. Many people have
yes,
posthumously
that's
also received Nobel Prize.
what posthumously.
Posthumously received Nobel Prize. I think so.
But
There are
I
people.
heard that I heard that uh, it is not awarded posthumously. I have to look into it.
Okay. Then
Or
I'm
what
not
it
sure, but
or maybe to some other award.
it must be
Okay.
some other award then. But people have received awards after they have
Okay.
passed away.
Yeah, so there might be different awards that. So I'll just look into it. Uh, this says it. So in 1974, some changes were made to the rules, which says that it may not be given posthumously. And before that, only two people had won a Nobel posthumously. It says.
Yeah, I'm also I saw one. I'm looking at one. So someone won a Nobel
Yes.
Prize in literature, I think, posthumously
Okay.
in 1931.
And And also even after the 1974 changes in rules, it says that after the announcement of the price, if somebody dies, then uh, that person still receives that. So that is the rule, I think. Yeah. So and speaking of recognizing important work, uh, the Einstein also, he too received his Nobel Prize. I think so. It was in 1924, somewhere in that time. But did you know for what research did he receive his Nobel Prize?
I'm not sure. What was it?
Received his prize for the photoelectric effect.
Okay.
Okay, but the thing is, he made far more important contributions with the help of his other two theories. You might know the general
Yeah.
relativity and the special relativity. Those are far more complicated than the concept of photoelectric effects.
But this
So,
theory of relativity was confirmed much later, right?
no, mathematically it was proved. So when the
Mathematically, it
paper
was
was
proved, but
published,
physically or like in physical reality, they show like they found it to be true much later or
no, I think
something.
so. When Mary, okay, go on.
And then you continue. What were you trying to say?
No, I said that one of the things after Marie Curie, her research about on radioactivity and all of those things, uh,
Yeah.
uh, means confirm a lot of Einstein's postulates about what he made during in his special relativity, or maybe probably the special relativity. It's about how mass and energy relates. And Marie Curie, she herself, I think, so made that discovery in the 1920s or 30s, maybe in the 20s or 30s, somewhere like that. So
But I think I read
one
somewhere
person can
that
receive more than one Marie Curie. Okay, go on.
regarding Einstein's theory of relativity, I think I read somewhere that
Yes.
this idea of the
Yes. What did
gravity,
you read?
gravity, how
Hello.
do I say, like gravity based on the space-time fabric, like bend. His theory is that space-time bends. That is what gravity is, right?
Hmm. Yes.
So
Yes.
that thing was observed much later after he postulated those theorems. Wasn't it something like that?
Okay.
And the discovery of black hole also.
Yes, but then in black hole, yes, maybe, but black hole isn't directly related to what he was trying to do. Maybe people build upon his
No,
theories, but
the discovery of black hole helped in like
confirming his theories.
confirming his theory that
Yes.
space-time actually bends or
Okay.
something
Uh,
along those lines. I'm not 100% sure.
yeah. Uh, Even simple experiments like the bending of light across the sun, that itself is proof enough to whatever he was trying to do. And even Marie Curie's experiment, I've read in multiple times that Marie Curie's whatever she did with those, she did a lot of experiments with radioactive elements, and this E equal to mc squared, this thing is very much applied during in those kind of reactions. E means the energy that is being extracted during radioactive from radioactive elements. So I think so special for at least for special relativity that was still enough information, I
Let
think.
me
But still,
share this.
where are you sharing?
I'm share. Is my screen visible or not?
Yes, yes, it's visible.
Yeah, so
Yes, scientists 30 years
in the world
told
of physics, two prevalent theories on the movement of
theories.
two bodies with respect to each other coexist. One latest theory of gravity predicts that bound orbits of one object around another electrical
That
extension
is
in
the,
shaped like a
hmm. Yes, there is
I'm not
evidence
sure what
based
this
that
article is
the
talking
latter
about,
is
but
true. Okay.
something was proven much later. I know that, but which part I don't know. that is very technical, I
Oh,
guess. It's not enough to discuss in abstractly.
so can you search that?
Huh?
How the can you search something that says that did Marie Curie's experiments help prove Einstein theories like that? Maybe you can use ChatGPT or something.
Marie Curie's experiment
Yes, experiments help
help
prove
identify.
Einstein's theories. Yes, help prove, at least prove, help prove Einstein's theories. Uh, oh, yes.
So it's saying there is no direct indication.
Should have been. Because I remember reading somewhere that Marie Curie's experiments prove that um, the because radioactivity, the energy created cannot be quantified directly through or something like that. I don't have the exact technical thing understanding, but I remember reading somewhere. So maybe I have to look into it.
Yeah.
So yes, even though the thing I was trying to say was that maybe even after his death, some experiments might have proved his theory is correct. But he died in I think so. Einstein died in 1964, 65. So by then, I still think that his experiments were still, or I would say his theories were much more widely known. I would say, or because I think so in 1926 or 19, something when Edwin Hubble he discovered the expanding universe and everything. So somehow I think all of those things might have helped uh, help provide evidence for his theories, or it
Yeah.
might not have. But the thing I'm trying to say is that sometimes some things are very important, or intrinsically they are very important, very much, I'd say, a brilliant work of it's a brilliant intellectual work, but those things sometimes may not get recognized because maybe sometimes there aren't enough proof to validate their theories, or sometimes people are not intelligent enough to recognize the brilliance. So the same, I think, so the same is the case with this good enough, whatever he tried to do. So you can say that once you recognize the importance, only then you can realize what he has done. So even for Stephen Hawking, he never received any Nobel prizes.
Any what
As
kind of
far
discoveries or like theorems or theories did he work on? I'm not aware of anything.
who Stephen Hawking,
Yeah.
he as far as I know, he worked mainly on black holes, and he was more mainly into astrophysics. So he mainly worked on black holes and all of those things. As far as I
I
remember,
am
if you
mostly
look into
aware
his
of
Wikipedia
Stephen
page,
Hawking in the point of view like a presenter, someone like
yes,
Neil deGrasse
Neil
Tyson
deGrasse
kind of
Tyson,
figure.
yes. But he, as far as I've seen, he works. His works are mostly related to astrophysics, mostly in something on black holes and all of those things. If maybe you can share his Wikipedia page here in the screen, you can see. Hello.
Yeah, I'm sharing my screen.
Okay. You.
Is it
Can
visible?
use. Yes, it's visible. If you just scroll below, yes, around here, around, go further below, and on the right hand side, you can see. You don't have to go that far. If you just go above, go above. Yes, in this known for something might be there. Okay. Yes,
Hawking
yes.
radiation.
Talking radiation, and it is all about black holes. Most of the things are about black holes. Information creators. They're mostly into all of those things.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, if you what is his introduction? Can you look in his introduction? What did it mention? What was he?
Was in English theoretical physicist, cosmologist.
So yes,
Like,
cosmology. So yes, mostly into space and all of those things. So, and even here it was mentioned that one of those papers he has done with Penrose. So Roger Penrose. So again, he too is another great. He's a very great physicist. He's a very important work. And not again he's like uh, Stephen Hawking. He also mainly most of his work is related to similar things that Hawking has done. And but he has also given a lot of. He has written a book on consciousness and how uh, and his views are very different from what mainstream science believes about consciousness. He says it is not very. It is not that consciousness doesn't arrive out of materialism. If I'm not wrong, so he says something like that. Consciousness, or I think so. He says that consciousness is not computable. But he says it means the current paradigm of science cannot explain consciousness. So his views are very different. So right now, yes, I think so. He received his Nobel Prize in 2019 or 20, and he is also he's much older than Stephen Hawking. Again, I would say that what the thing that he received for the the prize for is the thing he has already done. He did it a long while back, maybe 20, 30 years back, or maybe even older. But his views on consciousness is much more complicated and much more advanced. So he will not receive any recognition for those things. And maybe 50 or 100 years from
yeah.
now, what he said will be much more mainstream, and only then he'll be recognized for his views. So sometimes it takes time for genius to be recognized, I can say.
Because there must be a lot of policy things also in regards to whom to give Nobel Prize. I am not sure of the structure of this prize. Like, is it given to multiple people in the same domain in the same year, or is it like there is a one prize per year or something like that? How does it
So I
work?
know that multiple domains in the sense that within one field, one area.
Yeah, like Nobel Prize in chemistry, Nobel Prize in physics. It's something like that. No.
Yes, yes. So yes, everyone gets to like every year in each of the. I think so there are five: physics, chemistry, biology, economics, peace, and literature. I think so these are six. There are six different.
Yeah.
So every year, each all of those six domains get Nobel prizes. But
Six domain
for
get, but in each domain, is it one person or is it multiple person?
I think so a maximum of 3% can get the Nobel Prize. But I'm not sure whether 3% from working as a team or for three different works. I'm not sure about that. So I know that maximum of 3% in each domain can get, but whether all of the 3% are working in the same work as in a team, or they are separately doing three different works. I think so. It's most probably that they are working as a team or for the same work. Most probably that might be the case.
Now you just a little while ago you talked about Hubble, right? He identified the expansion of the universe.
Yes, yes.
But recently, I also have read an article about a study where it is saying that it may not be true.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Your voice isn't coming. Can you just
Hello.
repeat again? Yes,
Can you
yes,
hear
I can
me?
hear you
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. So what I
Yes,
said that
yes, I can hear you now.
I read an article a few days ago about a study which is claiming
Okay.
that this expansion of the universe may not be real.
Hmm.
I have actually not
May not be
read.
real.
Yeah, I have not read through the article, so I don't know what it is. So let me just share the article, and we can look at it
Okay.
together. Yeah, you can see the article, right?
Not yet. Uh, Still, the screen is black at the moment.
Now,
No. Yes, now I can look at it. The expansion of the universe could be a mirage, theoretical study suggests. An illusion. Can you go down and see what's the expansion? Why? Okay. Can you go further below? I- Yes, maybe. Yes. Unbelievable. Okay. Let's change that point. Let's just- Okay. Okay. So yes, this author is saying is that it's an illusion. So
yeah,
whatever says something's happening with the metals, with matters. Observe, for example, evolution of masses of particles over time.
yeah.
That is
So,
what
so
he is saying.
earlier the expansion was caught because of redshift.
Yes, but yes, the redshift was taken as the proof for expansion. But here he is saying that redshift itself is happening because the evolution of masses of particles over
Yeah.
time. Remember? Yes.
Also, actually, recently I've been watching few like astrophysics and astronomy videos, and what I've come to realize is most of these concepts are not really they are like the things we consider to be true about space and
Yes.
astronomy
Yeah. Most of
are
yeah.
still
They,
theories.
yes. Exactly. Yes.
Like even
For the
like
layman, it looks like it's up.
people consider Big Bang as like a ultimate truth or like the fundamental truth of our
Hmm.
universe, but that is still
Yes.
debated as a theory.
Yes. Exactly. Yes. For the layman, it seems like most of the things have been sorted out already. But
Yeah,
the people who are actively working there, they know that those are theories, but there could be other competing theories that explain things even much better. And there are loopholes in those existing theories as well. So
yeah.
those are not answered. So yes, here this is another. So you can after this is over, you can share this article. So I'll go through them. Those and this earlier this year, another very famous person died in the world of technology. Do you know Gordon Moore? the person.
Oh yeah, IBM's.
Not Intel
Is it IBM?
co-founder.
Oh, Intel, yeah.
Intel's
He passed
co-founder.
away like
Intel's
earlier this year or last year only, no?
he said earlier this year he passed away on 24th March 2023.
Yeah.
So it was this year. So he was another very, I'd say, in the field of computing and electronics, he was another very famous person. So, do you know of the? You might have already heard of the Moore's law.
Yeah.
So yes,
Moore's law actually it's
so
not
even
even a law.
yes, and yes, I've heard that. Yes, he just made a prediction because ultimately it will fail. So
Yeah.
what he says that the number of transistors in an integrated circuit would double every 2 years, and that was his means and general prediction. It's not
I
a
think right now
practical law.
it has come to a what is the word peak I think
Yes,
meaning
it can't be
the
because
every year that same amount of we cannot put more transistor in same amount of space anymore because the size of each
because
transistor is already very small.
yes, I've heard somewhere that there is some there is this phrases often I've heard or when I've read many times. This 3 nanometer or 5 nanometer transistors or microprocessor something like that.
Yeah,
Have you heard of it? Those terms.
yeah, I have heard like when it comes to
What
microprocessors.
exactly it is about? Yeah. So what is this 5 nanometer, 3 nanometer? Means what exactly are those?
So technically, I also don't understand, but what I can tell is that wait, let me think. So 5 nanometer meaning in let's say there is a microprocessor with how many like billion transistors,
Hmm.
right? So if we say
Yes.
if we say it is fabricated in 5 nanometer process, that means in 5 nanometer space there will be
Your,
5
your,
billion
your
transistors.
voice is not clear. Can you repeat?
Hello.
Yes. Can you repeat once
Yeah.
again
So what I
what you
said
said?
is if say there is 5 billion
Your voice
transistors,
is
it is still not clear.
okay. No, not clear. Okay, just repeat it once again.
So what I'm saying
Okay.
is that in
Yes.
if there are 5 billion transistors suppose in a microprocessor, yeah, can you hear me?
Your voice is still not very clear. Let me just.
Hello.
Hello. Yes. Continue.
Yeah, so if you're are not able to hear me, just tell me, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, so what
You
I
can continue.
what I understand is
Yes.
that if if there is let's say 1 billion transistors
Hmm.
in a microprocessor,
Yes.
and we say that this microprocessor is fabricated with 5 nanometer process, that
Hmm.
means in 5 nanometer space there will be 1 billion transistors.
Okay. Okay.
If it's a 14 nanometer, then in 14 nanometer space there is 1 billion transistors.
How's 1 million transistors in 5 nanometer space?
Yeah.
That is really very small. So means there will be a limit beyond which you cannot get further smaller.
Yeah.
Because
I just read like a line. I just googled right now and I saw a line. It says that many people expect the Moore's law to end by 2025. So you're almost
like
there.
yes, just a few days ago, I was just reading another article. Actually, it's not an article. It was a article that contained a webinar. So I watched the webinar. It says that what are the new different paradigms of computing that since it says that since Moore's law is coming to an end, what are the other paradigms of computing through which you can still continue to advance, because we can continue to make processors or the transistors smaller and smaller. So what other paradigms exist? I'll
So
put
what did you find
that
there?
article. So I didn't find much because it was actually just a mostly it was just a summary of, not even summary, just a brief introduction to an actual webinar. I didn't watch the webinar. The article was just mentioned the researchers who were going to be a part of the webinar, and just a brief synopsis of what the webinar is going to be about. So this is what the webinar was going to be about. The different technologies of computing, apart from probably transistors or whatever that is being used these days.
Yeah.
Okay. So uh, and else and do you know in which uh, the good fellow, or what is his name? Good enough. John B. Good enough.
Yeah.
In what Nobel Prize did he actually achieve, in physics or chemistry?
That I'm not sure. Let me see.
Okay, let's look it up.
In chemistry.
Chemistry. Okay. Yeah, it's mostly on chem. Just chemistry. Um, so, any other thing that you want to talk about?
Um, so actually, I was planning on writing a blog about NFT. So I was researching a little bit. It's
Okay.
not properly complete yet. It's just I have just started today only. So
Okay.
maybe we can discuss a little bit about that.
Okay. So you can talk about.
So basically, I got curious to know about the current status of NFTs because, especially last year, there was a lot of hype regarding
Yes.
NFTs.
Yes.
But recently, especially after this ChatGPT things, the hype, or at least to me, the hype seems to have gone down. So I got curious and
Hmm.
like wanted to know. So I have actually not researched much regarding the current status, but I have just tried to find out
Okay.
what was people's opinion regarding NFTs.
Okay.
So yeah, like I think you would know, in general, mostly people had some negative views only.
In the initial days. Yes.
Yeah, so one of the arguments is that it does not hold any intrinsic value.
Hmm.
Right?
Yes.
We are digitally, what is the word? We are making digital scarcity in a sense,
Yes.
and trying to attach value to whatever this digital collectible is. And another, what is the word? Another criticism is that it is just a vehicle for investment for most people.
Okay.
That is how people looked at it,
Okay.
or even that is how it was marketed, right? So you buy this NFT and it will increase in price. It is
Hmm.
a form
Yes.
of investment, but at the same time they were also marketing it as a new form of monetization for people who do art.
Yes.
Yeah, but then another major criticism was regarding energy consumption, which is a criticism of blockchain itself. Like
Okay.
it takes a lot of computation
Hmm.
to be able to like mint NFTs or mine blockchains or whatever. So these are the few, and these are based on some Reddit posts only. So these are the few, what how
Okay.
is the criticism I found. And I think this is most people's criticism is these 3 points only.
Okay.
So
Speaking about energy consumption, I'd like to just add one more thing. So I read somewhere recently about uh, regarding ChatGPT. It says that even for ChatGPT, for if you make a certain for one query, it requires a lot of energy to for the computation to answer one query or something like that. That is very computationally very intensive. It was.
yeah, most probably, but
Yes.
it is probably more computation will be required for training. I'm not sure
Okay.
the
Yes.
actual number, but based on how much I have, like, little machine learning I have done,
Hmm.
I found that the training process is a lot more computationally intensive. So,
Okay.
and especially this kind of deep learning models. So since ChatGPT itself is a deep learning model,
Yes.
so in deep learning there is a concept of, I'm also not sure of the actual word, but there is something called weights. I think I've told you this before.
Yes. Yes. You have told me.
So after initial training of the model,
Hmm.
you will get a result.
Okay.
It's a, like the training is complete. You get a, let's say once the training is done, you have the brain now.
Okay. Yes.
So
Yes.
you don't have to keep training the brain again and again to find the answer, right? You can just ask the brain.
Hmm.
So once training is done,
Hmm.
the weights is created.
Okay.
To access the weight, it is not that computationally intensive.
Okay.
It's just like accessing a database, sort of,
Okay. So means
right?
actually
Like
the
for,
query
like, think about like human being, right? If you want to learn a concept,
hmm,
learning the
requires
concept will
a
take
lot.
time.
Hmm.
But once it
To
is learned,
record.
you can access it.
Yes. Okay, I get it.
It's pretty similar. Once the training is complete,
Hmm.
accessing the training data is not very
Okay.
computationally intensive. But it is more
Hmm.
computationally intensive than just accessing a database, because there is still some competition going on. But
Uh,
it is considerably less when compared to training it.
okay.
But since OpenAI and ChatGPT itself is like uh, accessible to so many large, I think there is more than 100 million users now.
So yes, overall,
So
lot
overall,
of
it is still a lot of energy is needed required.
hmm,
Yeah. And talking about this NFT,
yes.
I I mean, these are just some questions I have. I have not really searched it.
Hmm.
So I'm curious about is, how did it start? How did it become a thing? And
Yes, how it means
especially NFT for images. Like how did someone think of associating
creating.
some value to an
Yeah.
image? Because many
Hmm.
people's
So
argument is, I can just copy paste an image and I can own it.
yes, yes, yes. They
That
say
is
the
how
thing
they
is that
yeah, that is how they are trying to sell, right? You will be the owner of this image or something. You will own this image.
yes, but the thing is that you
But I
can't
don't,
even.
yeah,
It's not that anyone. It's not that anyone can. No, nobody can copy it. Anyone can copy it. But the thing is, you're the legal owner. So what's the point of being a legal owner if anyone
yeah.
else can use it? Yeah.
And, but now talking about this thing is, how is it different from, how is NFT is different from stock market?
Because the stock there's real value in a stock.
But
That's the
the value itself, okay, the value is, let's say the value of a stock is associated with its company, with the, like, it's not even directly related with the profit the company makes.
yes, it's not
It's
directly.
how people see the company.
Yes, how it is going to perform or its future prospects. The
How people, the
yes,
perceived what is the word, perceived value is a stock. The value of a
yes.
stock is a perceived value of the company, right?
The primary cause that gives a stock its value is how a person perceives it's going to perform in the future. So yes, so In what ways do you think it is similar, or how are you
Is
relating these two things?
how I
Your
see it as being similar is that everyone who is buying an NFT, suppose an image, is
Hmm.
hoping that this image value will go up,
Yes.
and everyone else in the market is anticipating the same.
Hmm.
And because everyone is anticipating that it will go up, it actually goes up.
Yes.
If
Yes.
no one,
Correct.
if no one, if no one agreed to take part in it, then there will be no value.
Hmm. Correct. Correct.
Then in stock market also, isn't it similar? Like the entire public assumes that this will do well.
Yes.
Only then that the
Yes.
value goes up. Once some
So
kind
I.
of even
Uh,
if some fake
yes.
news spreads and the confidence goes down, even
Hmm.
if the actual product is doing well, the value will go down.
Uh, yes.
So the speculative
So
nature of
now,
both NFT and stock market seems similar to me.
yes, to an extent you are correct, but there are some differentiators here. So you said that okay, there's something called the market sentiment or herd behavior, which is being mentioned in our classes multiple times. Herd behavior. So sometimes you don't. So there are a lot of times there are stock market bubbles or a lot of bubbles you might have heard of. So this bubble occurs because of this kind of herd behavior. So people do not consider the intrinsic value of any share or anything. They just see that okay, everyone is going, the hype is building, so everyone is buying it. But at a certain extent, you realize that okay, this thing isn't worth as much as we are trying to value it, but it is still worth something at the end. So it might there will be price correction, and ultimately it will not go to zero if the business is still doing something, because it is not going to go zero, because the thing is that okay, suppose company like suppose Tata Motors, maybe you think that the shares are overvalued, but still suppose it is trading at, suppose now I know this is trading what around 550 or something like that. Not sure, but suppose it is trading at 1,000. You might think okay, no, it's definitely not worth 1,000, it is just because of how. But at the same time, it's not worth zero too. There is some value, there is actual cars that they're making. Maybe it is overhyped, but it's not zero as compared to an NFT. NFT is, it is literally zero. There is no actual intrinsic value to that. You
Yeah.
can take an image, any image. It intrinsically doesn't have value. It's just the people's perception. But a stock is not 100% people's perception. There is some intrinsic value as well. So even if you consider, even if you discard the hype that has been created, for example, any company, take, as I'm talking about Tata Motors, even to discard all the hype that is being made. For example, right now Tata Motors are creating a lot of EVs. So maybe people are too optimistic and the share prices are going way too higher than it actually should have been. So maybe it is a bit overpriced, but still, even if you remove the hype, there is some intrinsic value that is not zero, somewhere there, which is not the case for an, I'd say, a company like or any NFTs. Are you able to understand,
Yeah,
or
I
if,
get the point here.
yes, suppose if you say that, suppose if I have a share, suppose if even if the company, I can say that Tata Motors has an intrinsic value because even if nothing else, if I sell every property that Tata Motors has, then I'll still get some money back, actual money back, even if the shares are not being valued anything. So someone says no, Tata Motors is worth zero, but as a owner, I can sell the properties, the buildings, the cars, everything, and I'll still get millions or crores of rupees. So there is some intrinsic value to it. So in this way, they are different. So sometimes this is what happens for companies too. Like the bubbles, as the dot-com bubble, they have said that most of the companies in the early 2000s, when the internet first started, so a lot of the companies, they got overvalued, but they weren't actually creating that much value, or they didn't actually generating those revenues or the profits that people were anticipating that they would make. The prices were just increasing because there was uh, it's just the hype, because I know the internet was a new thing, and everybody thought that yes, eventually they are going to make some profits or they will grow big. But most of them didn't, and that is how it happens. Sometimes companies get overvalued too, but most of the times,
Anyways, yeah. So right now, I think I read that right now the transaction, or what is the, I don't know what the word is properly, but exchange of NFTs. I think the buying
yes,
and selling on NFTs has gone down to about 90% compared to, I think, this,
at its peak.
compared to before. Yeah, this weekend. But I think somewhat I also read that the total volume of NFT is still somewhat the same.
The volume is same. Is the volume traded is still the same, but the prices come down.
The traded, the volume, not the. I'm not sure what it was because I just quickly skimmed through it. I have to like see in details, but I think that the amount of NFTs that existed is still same. It has not gone down. The amount of trading, the amount in which it was
Those
traded has
things.
gone down.
Okay, okay,
But the same amount of NFTs exist,
no,
or at least similar.
okay, okay.
I have yet to properly research more and find out what is going on right now. But other than other than NFT for images and being used in video games, a lot of video game companies also try to
Hmm,
push this NFT. I have
okay.
not come across any other applications of NFT yet.
Yes, even from what I know, I don't. From what I know about NFTs, I really don't think
Only
it
thing I heard
has
is
any.
that there was this band called Avenged Sevenfold. I think they
Yes,
have to do. They have something to do with NFTs.
uh, about starting of NFTs,
They are starting
or
their own NFTs, but they, it is something to do with concert tickets or something like that. I'm also not sure, but they are somewhat somehow involved in NFTs. But I have to understand in what
um,
actual aspect they are using NFTs for.
okay,
Because I actually just saw one YouTube short of them discussing it, so it was very small. But they are not using
okay,
just for
okay,
selling images or something. They're pushing it as some kind of practical solution to a problem. So I have to research more on that.
okay. Yes, maybe you can look into how it can be actually practically
Yeah,
helpful. It might have practical useful uses.
yeah. That is what I'm also
Anyways,
curious because since this beginning, I have only seen it being hijacked to be used for making money, and I have not seen any practical use case. So I'll have to research more. Anyways, do you have anything more to say?
yes. One last thing. So it's actually about our discussion itself. So today evening I was uh, just uploading one old video, or just the video that was saved in my laptop. So during that time, I came to realize that it's been almost exactly 5 years since we first started this thing. First discussion, our first discussion.
Yeah,
So the so this is going to be our 16th discussion session, as far as it is going to be our 16th one. And the first one we uploaded on 29th June 2018. So I was looking through it. So I saw that yes, today is 1st of July 2017. So that's 5 years and 2 days. So just
mm.
it's like a five-year anniversary about
Yeah.
this
Discussion.
about this discussion session. Uh, so 16 sessions in 5 years. So anyways, do you remember the first session?
I think it wasn't it face to face in what
Yes,
was it?
that guest
Santana.
room. Yes, no, no, in Mokuri, yes,
Yeah,
Mokuri
yeah,
East.
yeah, yeah.
It was in the guest room. The discussion was about free will.
It was about free will.
Yes, I was looking at the title itself says free will, and I remember some of the conversation that I said about free will. So when I listen to it, it seems like that in 5 years my views have changed significantly about those things. And not just changed, but I'd say it's has become much more refined than what I said in that video. I can say that.
Maybe I'll also have to go back and look at the video because I don't remember anything I said.
Yes. Yes. And another video that we did was about spiral dynamics too. I remember that. I have to look into that video because it's been a while. Actually, the thing is that there's something good about this thing. When you look at those videos years from now, you'll see that how your thinking has refined or how your understanding has developed over the years. So maybe when you listen to this video or this conversation 5 years from now, you'll see that
Yeah.
how it has changed. Your views have changed or how much you have progressed in your thought process, something like that.
Yeah.
So that's about it for me for
We
today.
just stop the recording then.
Yes.